book. And why do I do that? Because that's why there's women who write. Because I started this group so that I would have a platform to showcase my book, because to work it out, because I'm going to try and turn it into a play, a show, not a one-woman show, but a show. And by the way, I spoke to that publisher who sent me that contract a year ago that I've been sitting on, and he's still like 1,000%. So my book's going to be coming out like soon. So yay, finally! Woo! It's only been 9 years. But for those of you who don't know anything about my book, it started out as a novel, and then I decided that was not telling the truth. So it's now my fictionalized memoir. Yes, and it chronicles a woman's quest to find her place and purpose amidst sex, drugs, rock and roll, and celebrity. Okay, yeah. It's 1990. Andy, a 30-something single, up-and-coming rock promoter, still is dating 2 guys. Lenny, her old friend and comedy teacher, who unknowingly led her to her current career as a successful rock promoter in New York, and reintroduced her to her childhood boy-next-door best friend, who happens to be his writing partner. But they no longer write together. They no longer talk together. Barry, also a comic, and is a way more successful rock promoter than Andy. After going out with both of them on the 4th of July, with Barry picking up the late-night sloppy seconds when he was supposed to be the only first, she has been yet to be kissed by him, while Lenny rounded home burning and breaking rubber. Rubber, bro. She awaits the results while continuing to whore it up with both. And Cookie and Cy, they're my parents. Her. Okay. Sunday morning at 9, Barry and I were scheduled to meet at the Hampton Jitney. At 9:15, Barry plotted up. He'd overslept. Something he did a lot. He seemed to spend an inordinate amount of time sleeping and almost as much time kvetching about being tired. I found the whole business exhausting. I was hoping that thank you. I was hoping that getting away from the familiar, some of those, you only do when you're reading it to yourself. Anyway, I was hoping that getting away from the familiar would distract him from my recent misbehavior on the 4th of July. It also seemed like a perfect opportunity to see what, if anything, was to become of us. And yet, I couldn't stop thinking about Lenny. Despite the lousy ending, his absence kind of did make my heart grow fonder. Jane. When we arrived at Cookie's, I suggested Barry take the guest room, choosing to bunk on the couch. Barry didn't argue. Cy wasn't pleased. Used to defending my men, I tried explaining. Barry sleeps late, and since you're up at the crack of dawn, he won't interfere with your morning routine. Under his breath, Cy muttered, "Another winner." Give him a break, Cy. He's the VP of a huge record company. He makes big bucks. On the weekends, he just likes to sleep in. I don't trust a man who sleeps all day. He seems moody. Smart guy, that Cy. Cookie's friends were having a poolside barbecue and invited Barry and me to come along. Not knowing anyone there, I was grateful for the bustling margarita bar. Barry sneered and ordered a Coke as I took my first lick of salt. Sexy, that salt. That usually gets them, Anyway, everyone was in a Jimmy Buffett state of mind. Everyone except Barry. I love watching a bunch of idiots get smashed, he sneered. They're not idiots, they're not smash, and from what you just told me on the jitney, you spent the better part of your life doing exactly the same thing. Sounds a little self-righteous, no? It's just not my good idea of a good time, he said. So what is? I've been trying to figure that out. We don't seem to be getting anywhere. I just want to take things slow. What's that supposed to mean, Barry? We're not 12 anymore. I thought you were so worried about safety and disease, he said, daring me to contradict him. I am, but sometimes you just have to take a chance and move forward. Like you're doing with Lenny, he spat. Look, Barry, I've been straight about this from the start. Lenny and I were on a date when I found out about you. That relationship was moving forward before you entered the picture. Oh, and I guess it's continuing to develop? Barry, I don't know what I'm doing here. I've never dated in my life, let alone 2 men at once. I know I'm not handling this well, but I just want to do the right thing and be sure. Lenny and I are at a different place than you and I are. That's why I'm taking it slow. Realizing the party wasn't helping, I said my goodbyes to Cookie and Cy and set off in search of neutral ground. Italian food seemed like a good option. Away from the margaritas, Barry relaxed, smiling for the first time all day. I was reminded of his charm, of which there was plenty. Our phone conversations were animated and flirtatious. He was attentive, calling me numerous times a day. Our first few meetings were exciting and filled with promise. How could I blame him for being bitter? It certainly appeared I was setting him up for the fall, but I really wasn't. It was anybody's ball game. Lenny was swinging for the fences. Barry was merely chipping at the ball. Like Roger Maris in '61, Barry was misunderstood, the underdog, quietly going about his business head down. Lenny was the Mick, the hometown favorite, charmingly bold. How would I have felt competing for someone's affection? Historically, it brought out the fight in me. It certainly did Lenny. I liked it, the old knight in shining armor thing. Duel to the death, fight to the finish. Lenny was engaging, Barry was retreating. What's more attractive? And yet, Barry was being a friend. He was thinking of Lenny. Or was he just protecting his cojones? Probably both. Lenny, on the other hand, was in survivor mode, single-minded of purpose. And it was working. I thought Barry was going to kiss me that night with the moon pulsing full. He came close, and then chickened. And I was left wanting. Again. Lenny had awakened the beast in me, and it needed to be fed. I yearned for him. Unable to sleep, I impatiently waited for morning. Cy, up at the crack of dawn, stage quietly started the coffee. I'd fallen asleep for a bit, but sat up to let him know I was awake so that he could drop his pretense. Cy hated to be quiet. With me awake, he began moving about as if no one slept. Cookie was already washing up, and as far as Cy was concerned, the day had begun. For everyone. Barry woke around 11, duly noted by Cy. I've never heard more in my life. I made Barry French toast, and then we headed out for a day on my folks' speedboat. After stopping for lobster rolls at a dockside bistro, Cookie and Cy gave us a ride back to the city. Having shared the weekend, a bond had been formed, and conversation flowed easily. Cookie warmed to Barry, forgave him his moods, and was now conducting an animated inquisition of celebrity info, which Barry provided in the plenty. Cy dropped Barry off first. I got out of the car as he pulled his bag from the trunk, meeting him behind the opened hood. The long-sought kiss did not come. Barry leaned over and gave me a peck on the cheek, painfully reminding me once again that we were moving slow. I longed for Lenny. Pushing my fears of pregnancy away, I replaced them with lustful vignettes in which I was thin and confident, seducing the object of my affection with bold, salacious moves that I would never, not in a million years, do in real life. The next day, Barry, back on phone duty, was once again attentive and exuberant. One of his major clients was performing that night, followed by a company dinner. Barry invited me to tag along. He spent most of the evening on his cell phone, wheeling and dealing. Business or mystique? I enjoyed the show, but couldn't help feeling uncomfortable with all the skinny, couture-wearing girls filling the VIP booth. I felt much as I do when I get my hair cut on Madison Avenue. The imposter, with my faux Prada purse and my semi-precious baubles. I didn't get high before the date, and I made a point of letting Barry know. That was a big deal for me. I also didn't drink at the concert or at the dinner, hoping that would bond us somehow, and I guess it worked. Midway through the main course, Barry whispered, "I got tested, you know." "No, I didn't know," I said, surprised. "I got my results back the morning we went to the Hamptons. That's why I was late." "Oh, I'm sorry. That explains a lot." "No," Barry said, laughing, "I'm negative." Well, so